Working together for 12 weeks, your goal was fat loss, build muscle, fit it into your lifestyle. Do you remember what weight you started at and what weight are you walking around at now?
I was 211.8 and now I'm 193.8.
Awesome. Large focus of what we do is get stronger at calisthenics-based movements. How did you find this approach and where did you start with the pull-ups, push-ups and things like that compared to where you are now?
So when I started, I could barely do a pull-up. I remember I had to do the acclimation workout, and I don't know any other way to describe it than it was hard. And I had been working out. I have a football background. I could work out. I knew how to do a lot of the movements. You didn't even have to correct my form. But what you said was true. In order to do what we're going to do, you have to lose fat. There's no way around it. And so I feel like that's what happened. Now I can do 10 pull-ups without weight easily. I can do 30 pounds. This past week, I did 30 pounds in my backpack for 5 reps. I lost the fat. I can do pull-ups now.
Pretty great. That is something to say. You came in with a really good athletic background. There's a learning the technique phase you got to jump over quite quickly because you have that kinesthetic feel already. And so other clients have made very similar progress to you, but the way that you did it was you jumped over the technique phase immediately. You're like, no, that clicks, that works. It was just about losing fat to facilitate it. If we'd have done this with deadlifts or anything like that, as we've always saying, they contradict each other. It's like, do I want to progress the deadlifts and the squat, or do I want to lose fat this week? Because it's too much to ask to do both. Bulgarian split squats are probably the thing that you've excelled at the most. I have a competition between clients. 75 pounds in each hand. I think it's the most I've seen anyone else do. There's a few people who have knocked on that door. Your gym is limited by the dumbbells, so you start getting creative and adding the backpack. Where did you start and what are you at now?
I think I could hold 45 pounds in both hands, but now I have to hold 50 pounds in both hands. But in my backpack, I have to have 50, 55. The backpack won't even fit all the weight anymore.
We've transitioned to pistol squats now just because your legs are at the size they need to be, but you want to keep training them just so we get that testosterone benefit so that they don't atrophy. But yeah, that's awesome. You've definitely reached the strength standard we're looking for. When you continue to drop down into the 170s, we always compare strength based on body weight. With some of the calisthenics movements started going into, you are way ahead on handstand push-ups. How did we progress up?
So with shoulder press, once again, my gym's pretty limited. I could do 45 pounds or 50 pounds in both hands relatively easy. And then the stronger I got, the easier that got. So we added in pike push-up, and then we progressed with pike push-ups with the parallel bars. And then you started talking about handstand push-ups one day, and I was like, let me just try it and see if I could do it. And I started doing those. I think at that time I could only do like 4 without the parallel bars. And then right now I can do like 8 to 10 using the wall, of course, right now. So using the wall and the parallel bars, I can do around 8 to 10. I wonder if right now I could not use the wall.
From the hypertrophy perspective, it's much better to just keep nailing doing it with the wall. You get the stimulus to your shoulders, you get the support from the wall. There's no point learning that technique now when you can just drop a bunch of fat, and as you get closer and closer and closer, it just starts to sort itself out. You get more control over it through the skill. I spent about 6 sessions just trying to develop the technique. I already had the overhead press strength and I had the body fat loss. And so you're the exact same. You started with really good strength, and your strength is so good with the overhead press, you can do these movements early. We do 3 days a week. Yep. Most people in the gym are 6 days a week. You've come from athletic backgrounds, playing football. Obviously, we know how those training sessions are. No one would ever be able to do that without a coach shouting down your neck. What's the difference in training like? What do you think about 3 days per week compared to 6 days per week? Are we convincing people it's better?
So this is a really good question. When you think about my athletic background, it took a lot of effort and work to get the result. Like to get high result, you needed a high input. Here, it's so weird. It was so easy. I am not kidding. Only working out when you said I would only work out 3 days a week, I'm like, how is this going to happen with only working out 3 times? And then the exercises are, you're not burning yourself out with 15 different exercises in one session. It was so manageable, and that was probably what kept me on track. It was very little, I don't know, it was very little input, but the result and the output was exactly what you said it would be, which I thought was amazing.
I'm getting pretty confident with it because some people will go, oh, genetics, or oh, exercise history, or lack of exercise history. They're like, oh, well, this person's never trained, so of course their progression is going to be quicker. And then you'll have the same people going, well, they've got a really good athletic background, so of course it's going to be faster. Or it just works
Yeah.
because 3 days a week for every single client has produced top 1% strength. Most people can't do pull-ups. When you think about abs, which is the goal that we're going for here, there's more, especially in the US, more people with $1 million than there are with abs, which is just ludicrous because it's much harder to make $1 million. I think that even if people do it through my method or not, it's always better to push extremely hard, rest, rather than just trying to burn yourself out with too much effort to the point where you need a coach shouting down your neck. Let's pivot a little bit into how you found the nutrition. We're not working out all the time. That's the leading driver of fat loss. Tell me about how you ate beforehand, how you felt, and how you eat now in contrast, and how you feel.
I actually was trying to be healthy. Like, it just wouldn't work. I was trying like carnivore, looking up the Instagram people, like, okay, what foods do I have to eat? I would lose weight, but it would just come right back on, really. I would like relapse every single time. And I wouldn't feel very good. It wasn't very good mentally. I was also tired all the time. I mean, you got on this program and like, man, I can't even put it into words. The way we easily weaved diet into my way of life. Like, I wasn't doing anything out of the ordinary or like crazy. It rewired how I think about food. Yeah, I'm kind of at a loss for words.
How much of it would you attribute to behavioral adjustments that we made versus physiological? Because for anyone watching this who doesn't know, we attack nutrition from feed the body, feed the endocrine system. So the thyroid needs selenium, iodine. These are things that people miss in their diet. You want a faster metabolism, you need to force that. You want to have improved testosterone, vitamin D. All of these vitamins and minerals, most people aren't missing. If you're in a surplus, you cut out half your food. You were deficient then, you're just worse off. We were able to approach it by getting that food in. How much would you say is physiological? How much would you say was habitual or mindset based for you?
I think it was behavioral mindset, kind of. I was not in a very good place, like, before coming on this program. I didn't even know where to go, where to turn, how to improve. And now, like, it seems like every day average normal person can do what I just did. Because it's focused on your habits, it's focused on who you are in your life today. Like, I mean, you look on Instagram and it's always like, here's how you drop 30 pounds and do blah, blah, follow my program, blah, 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 blah. Feels more of like a top-down imposing something on you. But this was very much like meeting me where I'm at. Probably why it worked, I think. I just went through the hardest 3 months of my whole life, basically. I mean, I had a newborn, like, and then on top of that, we have a 2-year-old. And then on top of that, work was crazy. I was taking so many exams. And so when we talk about the benefit, I had the most energy ever during the hardest moments of my life. Like, just the amount of craziness that was happening.
You're a great testimonial for the fact that the time to start is when it's hard, because life's going to get a lot easier, and you have all this evidence that you did it in the hardest time. But when you started, you weren't take my money. You took a little bit of time. And so I think it's to realize that, I don't know if I said this to you, I probably didn't, but most of the clients who do the best aren't just like, give money. The money's got to hurt it, because you've got to know that, okay, I've put thought into this. I haven't just committed off a whim without thinking about it. What would you say to people who are in that scenario? What would you say to yourself, let's say, if you go back 12 weeks?
I would say it worked. This is proven. But also do the math. Everything you've been doing probably hasn't been working if you're even considering doing something like this, right? Well, think about your life in 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. Is it ever going to get easier to lose weight? Probably not. And then think about this is what impacted me. Think about all the health problems that are going to come having not done it, and the amount of money you're going to have to spend on that. Like, if you end up having heart problems, diabetes, and like all the other things, right? And then make the calculation. Is $3,000 worth it? Like, and then compare that to like 12,000. It seems so small, basically. Like, it'll hurt at first, but then you're gonna realize, wow, in the long run, I'm gonna spend less money because I went went through this, and now I have the information that I need.
And the ability to execute it.
Exactly, the ability. Yeah.
I give so much away for free. It'd be interesting to see how many people watch this interview. A lot of answers are here. And people don't take action. They need to learn how to take action on what they want. What would you say has been the most important tool for you within the coaching that helped you get results?
It isn't just one thing. It's like your approach to it. You could have very easily just given me a bunch of information and then you have to do that, do that, do that, do that. And I'm a motivated guy. It probably wouldn't have worked. Like, if you just gave me all the information I needed to have and said, go do it now, I'm a motivated guy, and that probably would not have worked for me. The weekly conversations, the focus on the mental and behavioral and the habitual part that I think like made the most impact. I'm a planner. I'm very type A. And so I didn't need someone to tell me what to do. Information is not a problem. I did a bunch of researching before coming on this program. I talked to my wife about this. It kind of felt like counseling a little bit. Like you get this mental, emotional, spiritual counseling all in like one thing. And the health is just like inevitable result of being treated like a human being and being treated like a person.
That's great, because it's the reason I don't do, or I've been very apprehensive to do anything that's not one-on-one. The more I talk to someone, the more I think, do you really just need the information, or do you need to know how to execute it? And that's why, or what I call it, is value-driven approach. So
at first I was like, you're gonna meet with me every single week? Just tell me, I'm type A. Tell me what I need to do, and I'm gonna go do it.
Yeah.
And then at first I was kind of skeptical, right? But then as we went through, as the weight started coming down, my mental health started improving. I'm like, oh, this is why we're doing it like this.
Yeah. I had a client the other day saying to me, like, oh, my results aren't as good as your other clients. Does that not annoy you? Does that ever annoy you? Anything like that? And I'm like, results are what you want. We're getting what you want. It's not about what I want. Like, I push you towards what I think is best, but we meet in the middle. And so when it comes to the approach, it's got to be based on your values. And I'm just glad that's why I always say that the most important thing is the one-to-one call. If I could get people results without the one-to-one call, it's likely because they just simply don't need it. But the reality is, like, how are we getting out of shape if that's not what you need? What other areas of your life would you say getting in shape improves, if any?
Once again, like, it's like an external thing. It's more of like, I want to start by the internal, because that kind of leads to the external. Because my mental health improved, like my relationships with other people, like my wife, got better. Because I got healthy, my mental health was improving. I mean, I have 2 really, really young children. I'm able to put my time, energy, and attention toward them.
Who would you say that this program best suits?
I would say any and everyone. Like, if you're fed up with what you've been doing, you're tired, you're kind of running into the dead end of, okay, I've done all I can do and I can't do it any longer. I mean, anyone can do what I did. Do it better. They might even do it better. Because it's so tailored toward the person and who you are, work for anybody, I think. You don't have to even have an athletic background. My wife is doing it, and like, I mean, she hasn't played a sport since like high school. And I look forward to the results that she's gonna get. The impact that, it has on families. And if you're thinking about the money part, then once again, make the calculation, put it like this very plainly. You're going to spend money on your health. Would you rather do it now for a reasonable price or later? Like, you're just going to.
Amplified for the American healthcare system as well.
Exactly. No, exactly that, right? I had a friend tell me, this is entirely, I mean, not unrelated, but in the context of marriage, right? You're going to have to spend money on your marriage. You can do it by going on dates and nurturing that relationship with your wife, which might not be a whole lot of money to go out on a date, or you can spend money on marriage counseling in the future because you didn't go on the dates. You didn't put all the time and the effort early on. And I view this exactly like that. You're going to spend the money. Would you rather do it now for a reasonable price or later when things are out of control and more expensive even?
Less salvageable. Benefits are compounding now. You asked me, how do I stay in shape when I'm 70? And it's like, well, you live off the habits that you're doing today.
Right.
How often do you eat out? Because people often think you have to sacrifice stuff. I eat out. I have a diet full of chocolate. What have you had to sacrifice?
I don't see what's interesting about the program. I don't even view it as a sacrifice. Like, because of how we went about it, it wasn't restrictive. At least based on my desires, my wants, my life. Like, hardest part was the first 2 weeks where you kind of have to rework your metabolism and your hormones and
Yeah.
kind of to love real and good food again. But after that, it was like I'm kind of eating what I want to eat, eating what I like to eat. I mean, of course, we bring those foods back in gradually. I think by week 3 or 4, I was eating out once a week. When I say eating out, I mean I was having exactly what I wanted to eat, and then I would also have like dessert. Again, that was based on my life, based on my body. I wanted to be able to eat out once a week and just have what I wanted to have. That blows my mind is that I was able to get the result having done that.
The faster rate than most. It's important to recognize that 1 pound per week is considered fast. You have built muscle through this phase and you've lost like 18 pounds. So it's like that's 18 pounds off the scale. Anything else that you would want to say? Anything else on your mind?
This is like the most non-diet diet I've ever been on. All the stuff you see on Instagram like feels restrictive and it looks and feels hard. I think the crazy part of what I just went through was like it was easy. Obviously life had challenges and life was stressful, but I never fell off the wagon. The constant one-on-one calls and the adapting what I'm doing in life, where I'm at in life, I still cannot believe how just easy this was.
Success is addictive. I think that when you keep seeing all this progression, you're like, so I put this in and I get this out. You're just going to keep pressing that button. And whereas most of the time, people are putting this in and they're getting this out. I talked about that challenge that I did the other day. People do that for fat loss. They actually think that exorbitant amounts of cardio is a clever idea to lose fat. Surface level, it makes sense. Calories burn, but not the way. What would you change about the program? Is there anything you'd like more of, you'd like less of?
I mean, nothing. Like, this was perfect for me. And where I was having like tried all the Instagram crap and looked at all the different trainers and like dieting, done it before, and that stuff didn't work. And I feel like this was exactly what I needed, and it was perfect.
A consistent thing that I hear, people will often say they've tried everything, this was easy. I think that just most of what's being pushed out there is crap. The ketogenic diet is a nutrient deficient diet. It cannot work long term. Vegan diet, nutrient deficient diet. Carnivore diet, nutrient deficient diet. Like, they can't work long term. So
one more thing. A lot of people think dieting is very restrictive and you get to eat food you don't like. And that's why they spiral out of control, they fall off the wagon, because you have this idea in your head, like, I have to eat crap that I don't like. It doesn't even taste good. What helped me get the results that I got was like the food was so good, nutritious food at that. And if you give your body those foods, it'll grow to love them again. It'll grow to like enjoy and feel good. Like I said, this is the most non-diet diet. I could eat beef and sweet potatoes until I drop dead because like it's good.
Yeah, I had it today. It's good.
I could not do that before. If you were gonna tell me, oh, you're gonna eat steak and potatoes all the time, you're crazy. That stuff's not even good.
That's why the elimination diet is there, because it turns it rid of the virus in your mind that the food that you're eating is giving you. And that's why the biggest thing that I can say right now is I'll give the elimination diet away for free. People don't follow it. That's the problem. Right? And it's not a diet you follow forever. You cannot follow it forever. It's designed to rewire your hunger hormones to get the virus out of your mind so that you can look at people look at steak and they go, it's crazy now you think about it, isn't it? That people are like, no, I need to have like a double cheeseburger. You look at steak like it's not incredible. You look at fruit like it's not a dessert. That's a disease of the mind, which the elimination diet fixes first. Like, you dropped a bunch of fat in the elimination diet, but it wasn't about that. It was about looking at food which is good for you and remembering that it tastes good, not that it's somehow a diet.
Exactly.